for an NTSB briefing coming very soon where we're going to hear investigators and we're expecting them to give a clearer picture of Sunday's deadly plane collision at LaGuardia Airport. Officials are expected to provide some new information that has been taken from the plane's cockpit voice recorder and give some details on staffing levels inside of the air traffic control tower at LaGuardia at the time of the crash. CNN has learned that pilots have previously complained about air traffic control missteps, communication issues, and other potential hazards there at LaGuardia. A review of government records over the last 2 years shows one pilot urging officials to, quote, please do something. Peter Goles is a CNN aviation analyst. He's a former NTSB managing director. That is really interesting, what we're starting to get a picture of, some of these complaints from pilots as we're awaiting this briefing. What are you looking for from the NTSB here, Peter?
Well, the NTSB has had a full 24 hours on the ground. They've got 7 working groups. They will have done their first analysis of the voice recorder. They probably downloaded the data from the data recorder. So they are well on their way in their investigation. I believe they will discuss some of their preliminary readings from the voice recorder, looking at exactly what the pilots saw, what they were facing, and the decisions that they made. And it is not surprising that there have been complaints about there was about DCA, about Reagan National. These are extraordinarily crowded airspaces. They are sometimes understaffed in the tower. And on a night like the night of the accident, where you had system delays throughout the East Coast, the 10 to 12 o'clock hour was probably far more congested than normal.
Yeah, one of the pilots, and this is from a CNN review of the last 2 years of government records, one pilot said, on thunderstorm days, LGA is starting to feel like DCA did before the accident there, talking, of course, about that January 2025 collision here in the Washington, D.C. area that killed so many people. How are investigators going to take those records and those reports into account as they investigate, but also as they perhaps make some immediate changes pending a longer investigation?
Well, on an airport like LaGuardia, which is slot controlled, you might have 75, up to 75 movements per hour. That's a lot. And if you schedule for those during the rush times, when you have a delay, you've got many flights pushed back into the 10 to 12 o'clock hour, which normally has perhaps 20 to 30 operations. You are putting a great deal of pressure on a controller staff. And I believe that the NTSB will document exactly how much pressure, how much traffic there was, and they're going to make recommendations so that this accident doesn't happen again.
The crew of this fire truck, Peter, survived. We were told that one of the crew was released yesterday. Another was being held overnight last night for observation. It sounded like they were going to be released today. How valuable is what they can tell investigators, and what would you want to ask them?
Well, you'd want to interview the crew member who has been released from the hospital as soon as possible. You know, an eyewitness and participatory witness is always more valuable, you know, the earlier in the process that you can get to them. They'll want to know what their understanding of the procedures were. What did they think that the controller had instructed them to do? And what was their reaction when the controller said stop? I mean, perhaps a better command would have been clear the runway. The last thing you wanted was that truck to stop dead center in the pathway of the aircraft, and we don't know whether that happened, but there's a lot of questions that the crew members of that emergency vehicle can help answer.
Yeah. Also, it sounds like in the recording, it's a stop, 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 and then you hear truck one stop. Is there confusion about who was being addressed in there, and at what point did the impact happen in that address? There's a lot to learn here, Peter, and we really thank you for your expertise in this. Thank you very much, Boris.
Now to some of the